On the third night, they reached the place fishermen called Hollow Sound, where voices carried strangely over the water, and the sea floor dropped into abyssal black. Eliab told Naram not to speak after sundown. Why? Because the deep listens. Naram laughed at that, but uneasily. The darkness around them was unlike ordinary night. Near shore, darkness belonged to land. Trees held it. Stones held it. Villages hemmed it in with lamps and cooking fires and dogs barking in alleys. But out here, darkness belonged to water. It moved. It breathed. It stretched under them without bottom or edge, a vastness so complete it made the stars seem fragile. Near midnight, Naram woke to a sound. At first he thought it was wind grinding the mast. Then he realized it was lower, deeper, a long resonant vibration that seemed to come through the hull itself. Not a cry, not a roar, more like the groaning of some immeasurable gate opening far beneath the sea. He sat up. Eliab was already awake, hand on the knife at his belt. "You hear it," Naram whispered. Eliab nodded once. The sound came again. The water around the boat shivered. Then 50 paces off the starboard side, the sea bulged upward. No splash, no thrashing, just a slow rising as if a hill were lifting from beneath the surface. Naram lunged for a harpoon. "Wait," Eliab hissed. The black shape held for one impossible breath, slick and ridged and immense beyond reason. Moonlight touched something along its back scales or armored plates, each one large as a shield. Then the shape sank. A heavy swell rolled under the wayfarer, nearly throwing Naram to his knees. His heart hammered with savage delight. "It's real." Eliab's face had gone ash pale in the moonlight. "Yes." "We strike next time." "No." Naram turned on him. "No. You saw only a fragment, and already it nearly overturned us. That means we found it. That means it allowed us to see it." Naram gripped the harpoon shaft until his knuckles whitened. "I did not come this far to stare." Eliab stepped close, voice low and fierce. "Then perhaps you came this far to die." The words hung between them. By dawn, the sea was calm again, and Leviathan was nowhere to be seen. For 2 days they found nothing, then a storm came. It rose with unnatural speed. 1 hour the sky was a pale steel dome. The next it was piled with bruised clouds and torn by green-white flashes at the horizon. The wind slammed the sail hard enough to crack a spar. Rain came in sheets, so dense Naram could barely see Eliab at the tiller. They fought through the afternoon, bailing, trimming, cursing. Waves broke over the bow and filled the boat to the ankles. The mast groaned. One barrel tore loose and vanished overboard. At twilight, a wave larger than all the rest lifted them so high Naram saw. For one impossible instant, the storm spread beneath them like a living continent of water. Then they dropped into a trough. In that hollow, shielded for a heartbeat from wind and rain, Naram saw it. 2 eyes. Not near, not far. Suspended ahead in the darkness, level with the boat though no body was visible beneath them. Enormous and pale gold, slit with black, glowing as though lit from within by dawn. The wayfarer rose again, and the eyes vanished behind water. "Eliab." "I saw." The next wave hit broadside. The boat spun violently. Naram slammed against the gunwale, half over it, and felt cold black water seize one leg. Eliab caught him by the back of his tunic and hauled him in with a curse. Then the storm changed. The rain lessened, but only around them. Beyond a widening circle of smooth black water, lightning still stabbed the sky and waves reared like mountains. Yet inside that ring, the sea flattened. Naram's breath came ragged. Eliab whispered something Naram could not hear. The surface beside the boat split. Leviathan rose. No tail had prepared Naram for scale. Its head alone was longer than the wayfarer. Black-green armor plated its body, each scale edged faintly in silver, sealed so tightly they seemed forged rather than grown. Water thundered from ridges and spines along its neck. Smoke, or steam, or some hotter vapor streamed from flared nostrils. Its jaws opened slightly, and Naram glimpsed rows of teeth curved inward like hooked blades. Its eyes were terrible, not beast-dull, not wild, but fixed with a presence that felt horribly deliberate. The air smelled of salt, burning pitch, and something ancient, like stone split by lightning. Naram's fear lasted only a moment before pride came to strangle it. He seized a harpoon, braced his feet, and hurled with all his strength. The iron point struck Leviathan's neck, then bounced off. Not merely deflected, rejected as a pebble skips from a fortress wall. Leviathan turned one eye toward the dangling line, then toward Naram. Its mouth opened wider. A pulse of heat hit the boat. Deep in its throat, orange light kindled. Eliab shouted down. A blast of fire roared across the water. Not a broad sheet like a furnace, but a violent torrent of sparks and flame mixed with superheated vapor. It struck the mast. The sail erupted. Rope snapped. Naram felt his eyebrows singe and dropped flat as burning cloth whipped overhead. The wayfarer lurched hard. Eliab hacked at flaming rigging with his knife. Water, water. They smothered flames with soaked blankets and hands blistered raw. By the time the fire died, Leviathan had sunk. The smooth circle vanished. The storm crashed inward again. They barely survived the night. By morning, the mast was scorched black and cracked halfway through. Half their provisions were ruined. Naram's forearms were burned red and blistered. Eliab coughed blood into the sea and tried to hide it. But Naram's eyes still burned with the fever of the thing. "We heard it," he said hoarsely. Eliab stared. "Your mind is damaged by smoke." It reacted. Yes, like a mountain reacts to a thrown seed. Naram slammed a fist into the ruined mast. "Then we strike harder." Eliab's silence was long. At last he said, "Tell me true. Are you hunting your brother's killer, or are you hunting the part of the world that refuses to bow to you?" Naram said nothing. Eliab nodded once, as if the answer had been given. They made landfall that evening on an island no map of Tirzah named. It rose steep from the sea, ringed in black volcanic stone, with a small inlet deep enough to anchor the crippled wayfarer. Strange trees grew there, twisted by salt wind, their roots clinging to rock like grasping hands. They spent 2 days repairing what they could. The island held no fresh spring, only rainwater caught in stone basins. Gulls nested on the higher cliffs. Once, at dawn, Naram found enormous gouges in a shoreline boulder, as though something with iron talons had dragged itself halfway onto land long ago. On the second night, while Eliab slept, Naram climbed to the island's highest ridge. The sea stretched outward under a wash of stars. Somewhere beyond that shimmering dark, Leviathan moved unseen. "You are real," Naram murmured. "You bleed somewhere, you breathe, you rise, which means you can fall. Can you?" The voice behind him was neither loud nor abrupt, yet Naram spun as if struck.